This episode of A Conversation with John Conenna is sponsored by Generate. In today's digital age, staying ahead means harnessing the power of generative AI. Wondering how your small or medium-sized business can join this revolution? Look no further than Generate, your strategic partner for integrating cutting-edge generative AI solutions. We create personalized plans, adapting existing AI technologies to fit your specific business needs. Plus, our expert team provides essential training, empowering you to make the most of these innovative technologies. Interested in transforming your business with AI? Reach out to us at generateteam@gmail.com. That's generate, GENERAIT, team@gmail.com. And now, on with the episode.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of A Conversation with John Conenna. Today is a different road for me, but it brings me great pride because I've known this gentleman for over 44 years of my lifetime. Today I'm bringing in the president and CEO, Eddie Greco of Greco and Sons. We're going to talk about the career and how this all started and to where it's at right now. A pleasure to have him on after so many years. I don't get to see him as much as I used to, but Eddie, you're looking good. And what is going on with you, young man?
Thank you. Everything's great. Next chapter of my life, and looking forward to it. But things have been great. It's been a great run.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I got to ask you, let's go back to maybe those beginnings. Where does it start in the sense of like, here I didn't want to do Venus travel under my father's thing. I got into it as like basically a delivery boy, and then here, it's 2024 and I'm still over here on Belmont Avenue. How does it get started for you in the sense of this whole thing? Because this is fantastic.
Our family we were in the business. So we had a grocery store in the old neighborhood on Addison in Harlem, really on Addison, 7501 West Addison. And my father was working for a meat company making sausage on the Fulton market. And my uncle Orlando was in the wholesale importing business, along with the grocery store that we had with my Uncle John. When things began getting bigger, our store was a small store. We ended up selling the store. And this is around 1988. I was graduating college, and we were going to get into wholesale by combining the two entities. My uncle Orlando was completely food retail, and my dad was food service, servicing the restaurants. So me and my uncle in 1989, we joined forces. I got out of college. I was an accountant at DePaul, and decided to go into the family business. And that's the humble beginning of that. And then my dad joined us in about 1994. And then that's when my uncle went back into retail and built his own company with his family. And we took the Greco and Sons to the level it's at now. But it came from the beginning of an Italian deli, John, that and my uncle had a vision on the import side, and my father was always call him the sausage king. So,
Eddie, you remember when that started with the two of them? But I mean, it was before you came into the scene, correct?
They opened the store in 1978. Yeah,
78. And was it over here? I think not too far from my office on Addison.
7501 West Addison. Addison,
yeah.
A few blocks west of Harlem.
Yeah, I remember it well. When do you get involved? Is it right? Right after, like
1989.
89. Okay. And then in 90 now this thing starts to take off little by little.
May of 90, we incorporated as Greco and Sons.
Incorporated. Okay. So now the vision for you was what? I mean, did you say to yourself, hey, just like here, I had to reinvent this place a few times because my dad was this old-fashioned guy who was depending on airline tickets, and I had to go in to do other things to make this work. What was the vision from an Eddie Greco?
Yeah, the same thing. So my dad and uncle were pretty one-dimensional. My uncle was doing retail, which was nice, And my dad was basically had maybe 20 products that he served the industry. We then began expanding both the facility and our ability to expand the product line. So we ramped up fairly quickly getting into disposables, produce, becoming what I called a custom broad line for the Italian segment. So we not only brought you your olive oil pasta, sausage, and Romano cheese, we began bringing disposables. We began bringing dairy. So we took and expanded and really took the route of being a one-stop shop for the Italian restaurants in the city of Chicago.
Was your forte, to bring it, I'll use that word here, was the forte the sales end of it with you, or were you kind of the guy that says, hey, let's try things this way?
No, I was all on the sales end.
Right.
I ran sales, although I was the president. My father was the CEO at that time once he joined us, because we started together. But I grew sales. I was the front end guy, and a lot of my family was the back end of the operation. You got to remember, we're three brothers. My sister, my brother-in-law, all part of the company, all took a critical role in the growth of this company.
Did you feel that, okay, was there a market in your mind, Chris? Now, this starts only in Chicago, correct? We're talking Chicago, Illinois, which is a big city. Did you foresee, hey, I think I can get this to market it to grocery store, restaurants? What was the vision for you? I mean, what made you, what was that when the pilot went off?
Well, the growth was all in food service. Today, America, not like when we came to this country. I mean, if we ate out once a month, that was a lot, John. It was like a treat, right? Today, I bet you the average American eats out at five nights a week, including myself. It's just a changed world. So we realized that the growth potential was in food service. And then within food service, we just didn't bring the specialty items. We tried to be a one-stop shop, which really helped us grow the numbers.
Right. Was it at the restaurant end that started to do the takeoff for you?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And but again, great point, case in point that you made here. Back in the day, you didn't go out as much, and now there was this, you had the mom and pop restaurant, you had the big franchise restaurant of a Melman or somebody else. So you saw this coming?
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
Was this a hard idea, Ed, because like I said, not to throw my dad back into the mix, was this a hard idea to throw back at your dad, like saying, hey, we could do it this way?
No, I wouldn't say it was hard, John. I think they were very humble. So knowing where they came from, that, he was very proud to be able to do what he did. And his vision of bringing in some of the strongest brands, that was his forte. He was the king of common sense. So he brought in some of the brands that today are iconic in the pizza and food service world. Major brands, right? But his vision was just to get them to the restaurants, get what he knew, and he didn't want to dabble outside, which was always the fear. And then we began dabbling outside, which there was a reason not only to be a one-stop shop, John, but your core items, it's like you're selling a plane ticket. If you sell just a plane ticket, you get X. But if you sell the whole package, car, a hotel, or this and that, you bring more profitability to your organization.
Right.
Your dad was probably just comfortable doing that. So I think my dad was comfortable with his 20 key lines, which are the heart and soul of what made us today. But then we made this line extension, and that was really the key to being able to make profits, which we reinvested in the business, John, to be able to get to $1 billion organization that we are today.
Yeah, I have to ask you. Thank you for saying that. Did you ever imagine from that point on with these ideas? I mean, like anything else, change is great. I always say change is great, but again, change could be scary because now all of a sudden I go, hey, is this gonna work? Was this Did these ideas come as a family encompass, or was it basically down to a couple of you?
No, everybody bought into it. We saw the future. I could never sit here, John, and tell you that the success of Greco and Sons and our family office would be what it is today. Like, we had a vision to get here. It was just plowing the field like the old-fashioned way. One thing my dad instilled into us was a work ethic, and he had a motto all the time that he would be the first one there and the last one to leave, and that's how he beat his competition with no education. But we knew that the line extension and going out into other categories would be great for the business.
Sure.
We could never sit. Our family could never sit here today and say. Now, I could say today we're more sophisticated. We do more budgeting. We kind of put goals, and we have a calculated way to get to that goal every year, and then we could identify what worked and didn't work. But in 1990, it was survival. And I would tell you that most entrepreneurs, John, that we've been around all our lives from the neighborhood there, I would say they lived in fear of feeding their family, paying their bills, and getting
Yes.
where they're at. And, to get where we're at today, you have to have a little luck. Look at the poor people when COVID hit that made investments in a business
Sure.
that never got a chance to do it. So I want to say that we were at the right place at the right time, but we put ourselves in that position because I believe in luck, but I believe you got to put yourself in a position to take advantage of luck or opportunity.
Right.
And I would say that's what we really did. We went to work, we kept our nose clean, we did not incur a lot of debt, John. I mean, this is the inside scoop of what really made our family. I mean,
Right.
and it all comes from the founder. I mean, his core values to what he thought would make a business successful. Could your dad or my dad have ever dreamed of being maybe where we took it as a family? No. But without those core values, and he was very disciplined, and he taught us to be disciplined along the way. And we calculated every risk without knowing we were calculating.
Right. It gave us that great work ethic. Exactly. Give me 1 second. I just want to get a note on something. Just 1 second. 1 second. I have to ask you, in the sense of going back to the early days, and now you make this transition to where you are today. Did you know that did you know you could do it better than the competition around you?
I think that's the thing. We knew we were better. We knew we could outservice anybody. The key, we developed Saturday deliveries. We had 24 hours. We had customer service for 20 hours a day, live to get the delivery the next day. So the key to Greco was being able to outservice everybody. We knew we could do that. That was just in our DNA every day. And if we had to put a bag of onions in our car, we ran out of bag of onions. It didn't matter. We were going to do that. But we knew how to fight the competition. So the competition was putting restrictions on how to do business. For example, customer service hours, delivery cutoffs. At Greco and Sons, we don't have any delivery cutoffs, any customer. We have customer service 20 hours a day. So we did everything the opposite of what the competition did. And really, if you think about it, John, today, I don't care what we do. Everything has how do you say it? It has restrictions on it and how to do business. And this is how you got to do it.
Right.
Whether it's no live customer service, push 1 to do this, push 2 to do that. We always made the customer first. Always. And I think it's true. It's a testament because when we decided to partner with private equity and then finish with a publicly traded company, the foundation and the platform has continued to grow at double digits along the way. So it's a testament to the platform that was developed, and neither one of those companies that we partnered with changing anything. And it's, it's the key to the success.
Right. I have to ask you this. Of course, you're going to look at me and say, is he drinking this morning? You had to surround yourself by some good employees. I mean, you had to basically with the family say, hey, we need this guy for this, we need her for that, we need this for that. This again put you in a really good position by surrounding yourself with really good people over the years?
Yeah, we identified the roles where we had weakness, John, as a family, and we went outside of the family and did that. But within every department, John, whether it's CFO, ops, sales, there was always manufacturing. There was always a family member in there. But within some of those, we went outside and hired the expertise that would be able to take us to the next level. Because that's really the key. We're on Gen 3 right now, going to Gen 4.
Gen 4.
And the key is being able to bring in people that have the experience of going from level to level. So, John, you could use it. Say the number is 10, but your budget says you want to take the company to 20. Within that, there's many things that allow you to get there, whether it's technology, of picking inventory systems. That's all stuff we were never privy to because none of us worked for anybody.
Right.
All of us came out of the family into the business. I had an education, never worked for anybody in distribution. My sister had an education, never worked for anybody. My brother Lino went to Bradley, never worked for nobody, came right into the company. And Johnny and Bobby, the twins, never went to college, came right into the business. So when we started going outside, not only to extended family that are key to our success, that had the same heart and soul
Sure.
as the immigrants, but then we went out and hired some professional people that knew how to manage this technology, going from 10 to 20 because they did it before. And that was you had to integrate that with the family, and that was or with the key extended family member of saying, look, they're not above you, they're just here to support us to get to the next level. And when you could put those two together, John, we were really successful. So it was one thing to have a warehouse, John, that was 30,000 square feet.
Sure.
Then when you go to 150,000 square feet, if you don't have the technology to manage FIFO and LIFO, and we never had that. So we had to go outside and hire for that. And to answer your question, yes, we went out and our CFO came from the industry. Our COO came from the industry. Although we had people that had those titles prior, whether they were controller or director of ops, we had to go outside and bring them in. And then the heart and soul of the family member and or extended family member, along with somebody that did it before. And then when we started going national, that's a whole nother,
Yeah.
So to answer your question, we continued to bring people within our organization to be successful. Yes.
And Eddie, thank you again for breaking it down that way, because again, we all have the ego about what we do. If it's the athlete, if it's Eddie Greco, if it's John Conenna, whoever, we have the athlete that, we're going to do it my way. But what I love, just what you said now, is that, hey, if we're going to take it nationally, we're going to do it this way and that way, we're going to need some help, and that right there tells me how this got to be so successful. Incredible. I'm going to stop here for just a second to say to our audience, we're visiting today with Eddie Greco from Greco and Sons, the CEO, president of the company. But as we move forward, I'm going to ask Eddie a question because I'm not privy to this too much. Of course, you made the sale, right? You are now, correct me if I'm wrong always, Eddie, is it called now Cisco?
No.
It is not.
They will never change the name. They bought us
Okay.
as a specialty company, and the name will remain Greco and Sons. So we're into our third year. We've opened up 2 more markets and expanded 3 of the markets. And no, it will remain Greco and Sons. So they have many specialty platforms, John. Their produce platform is called Fresh Point. Their specialty high-end platform, they bought European Imports, which is a Chicago-based company. And now they have Greco and Sons. And then they have some meat companies. And they've maintained them as separate entities because in the pizza and Italian world, John, the independent operator likes to buy from an independent distributor that has quality products and
Got it.
expertise in it. So the way Cisco identified some of these categories is we got to buy the leader in that category, which they identified us as the leader, and then they remained a platform as Greco and Sons. So we're Cisco owned, Greco and Sons run.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that for me. So Cisco owned and Greco and Sons. Thank you, because yeah, I don't think you were going to come out my program with the Greco on the thing, but even though I don't. But I know that. Thank you for clarifying it, because you hear so many different things. You know, I want to go back to your father. There's a great rumor about you, a great rumor on the street since you started working. I said, what makes Eddie Greco so special? I've asked people in the restaurant business, do I know? And you know, without mentioning names, guys that I go for pizza or restaurants, and they say, John, Eddie Greco is up at 3 a.m. and maybe, I don't know if he goes to bed at 1 o'clock. You have really taken the work ethic, like you said, of your father. Is this true about you? I mean, you're constantly pounding that pavement.
100%. The first time I came in after him, I'll never do that again. Yeah. I caught a real tongue lashing, right? But that was his thing. You know, our day starts early in food distribution, and then it runs. You know, I never stayed up till 1 a.m, but you know, there was long days. But the way you start your day, my father always taught us, is the way you finish it. So if you're there in time and you prep yourself well, your day will go well. But yes, he instilled that in us, and the whole family was the same way.
Well, incredible. I mean, when I heard that, and that was only all these years of knowing you, that was the good rumor about you. I didn't know any other rumors. So let's keep it that way. Yeah, exactly. No, but a question for you. How many distribution centers now does Greco have?
We have 15.
15 distribution centers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are located not only, of course, here in Illinois, we are in Wisconsin, correct?
So we have one we started in Milwaukee, and then we built a bigger facility in Oak Creek. From there, our third one was Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. And we have a facility in Phoenix, Arizona. And the reason we picked Phoenix, Arizona is a lot of our multi-unit operations moved to Arizona to open up out there. So we followed them for their distribution, and then we built the independent market there. But Arizona, they call it the backyard of Illinois. So if you go to Arizona, a lot of the chains, or I call them multi-units, the Portillos of the world, the Rosati's of the world, have migrated to Arizona, because just like Florida, that's a one spring training of the Cubs. You know, so you get a lot of that in February and March, and then a lot of transients there from Chicago. From there, we went on to Las Vegas as an independent there. We were the first independent in Las Vegas. All of them high-end restaurants. We did very well there. We just expanded that facility. Then we went to Denver, Seattle. We have 3 facilities in Wisconsin. California. We have one servicing the Bay Area in Stockton, one in City of Industry, which services LA, and one in Vista, California, which services Orange County, which is your San Diego's of the world, the southern part of it. We have one in Ohio.
Jeez.
We have one in Cleveland, Ohio, and one in Youngstown, Ohio, and in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Wow, incredible. Do you continue to see yourself going into different states?
The next month, and we have one in St. Louis. I'm sorry, we have
in Missouri. Okay.
St. Louis on the hill there. Our next campus model with Cisco is being built in Tampa, so we'll finally enter into the Florida market, and that's our next look. And then Texas will be right behind that, if God willing, and we could do that. One will be a startup, John. We'll start from scratch.
Okay.
And I think Texas will be an acquisition.
Wow, this is
an existing company. So some of these were not all startups, John. They were acquisitions in these other markets. We bought existing companies. And the companies that we looked for, John, were companies that had culturally the same beliefs as we did. Just generation 3 and 4 didn't want to expand, and they were looking for an exit strategy. So we provided them an exit strategy. We allowed, their family stayed on board working. We always wanted to keep the family there. That's who the local customers and market trusted. And all we did was want to be value added. And that was kind of our strategy play as we began acquisitions across the country.
Wow, incredible. I mean, and again, the key word here, Ed, before I let you go, we're going to play a little game of 5 questions before I let you go, because I could spend another 2 hours with you. I know you don't have 2 hours to stay with John Conenna today, but I got to tell you, the key word here, just in this interview, is the word vision. You had a vision, and this vision continues to grow. And again, it's just because the dedication of the family, yourself, it's amazing. I mean, this is amazing, because I really wanted to hear it from you. You hear it on the street and it's all good, but when you hear it coming from you, it's amazing. It's just amazing.
I also think, John, the one thing that I would like to share with our ethnic race of being Italian, we're very proud of that, and also
Yes.
entrepreneurs in the world, because that are trying to do what we did, and we didn't have the vision to get there, but we ended up getting there. I think the key thing in everything is culture, John. When you have culture and you don't put a square peg in a round hole, and you make sure culturally you're aligned at all times, and that's with the acquisitions, John, bringing in of employees. You could have an employee that's phenomenal, but culturally, if he doesn't meet the work ethic,
Right,
your business model to go to market. Now, the good thing about my father, he always listened, and he always had a good sense of common sense. But if he didn't like it and he didn't believe that it was what got him where he was at, he wouldn't deviate from the culture that got him where he's at, whether it's work ethic and et cetera. So I think what's a really good message to put out there is that we've maintained a culture of Greco through a private equity stint of 5 years, of which we're very proud of, that helped us mentor us into how to grow and how to put it all together, to finishing with world number one Cisco. At the end of the day, we didn't put it to market, John. We went strategically to Cisco because they're world number one, and we wanted to be with world number one for their expertise, their experience. But culturally, Kevin Hurricane of Cisco decided we will leave this platform separately, and culturally we won't change anything. And at the end of the day, who does that reward? The most important person? The customer, the independent operator that got us where we're at today. So those simple fundamentals, vision, culture, keeping it consistent, is very important in any business practice. So I love sharing that story to everybody.
That is beautifully the way you said it. Fantastic. All right. I'm going to hit you with 5 questions. You can answer them with 1-word answers, a sentence, whatever. We're going to have a little fun with you. And then I'm going to let you go because your time is valuable. And I really appreciate you coming on here today. Besides mom and dad and anybody in the family, who else was that early mentor that you still talk about to this day that drove you a little bit?
My uncle Orlando was my mentor in business, and the backbone of where I'm at today was my wife.
Right. Fantastic. Thanks, Eddie. That was very nice. Yeah. Okay. What's that favorite Eddie Greco movie that he can watch 200 times and not get bored?
You know what I'm going to say.
What do you mean?
The Godfather. Come on.
Okay. All right. You like the trilogy, or you like Godfather 1?
Godfather 1 and 2 is the best. And the one behind that I think is so great is The Bronx Tale.
Oh, yeah. With Chaz Palminteri. Without a doubt. Yeah. Love that.
You get into Casino and all them other ones, Goodfellas, and they get into all that. They go from being culturally to garbage, and I don't like that. It hurts, But Bronx Tale was just how he taught his son, the things he told his son, because we're all mesmerized by certain things. But at the end of the day, he taught his son some good values, and it worked out by the end of the movie. And The Godfather, every time you watch it, there's a scene in there that you could relate to what really makes sense and being honorable. So those are my 2 favorite, not because of gangsters, but because of what they stand for.
Yeah, exactly. No, perfect. And I love both movies because when you talk about the Bronx Tale, Palminteri and De Niro, when Palminteri tells Calogero, hey, he goes, I cried today. The Yankees lost the World Series. He goes, you think Mickey Mantle cries when your dad loses his job?
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
It was a great movie. Even the part, John, when he took him out of there because of the money that he raised, and he said that you didn't make that money. He makes a point that later on he'll turn on him, and he did turn on him. So it was
exactly.
And now all of a sudden, De Niro was the hero and not Palmieri to the kid's eyes, because it made sense later in the movie.
Yeah, so great analogy, Eddie. Great analogy. Yeah. All right, third question. You're the biggest food distributor and one of the best in the world. What's Eddie Greco's go-to food when he's hungry, like saying about an hour from now? What's the go-to? What's his favorite food? The people want to know, Eddie.
Pasta.
Okay.
I love pasta.
You like it anyway? You like it bolognese? You like it?
You can make it simple with, fresh tomato and basil, or, putting an ingredient in there. But I could eat pasta 7 days a week. I really could. Make sure.
Hey, don't go there. Wrong place for sympathy. All right. What's the go-to restaurant that you like to take Lisa to every once in a while? What's that go-to? I mean, it could be the mom and pop. What's that? Give me 5 favorites.
5 favorites.
You probably service all of them.
I would say in the city of Chicago, I enjoy Volare.
Yes.
Starting to come out west, I would Pazza di Pizza.
Oh, yeah. Great restaurant.
I live in St. Charles, so we're a big fan of Zaza's.
Okay.
Going up south, I would say a big fan of Capri.
Okay.
Gigi. And then going up north, a really good restaurant up in the northern suburbs called Osteria Trulia. They cook beignets. And
Giovanni De Nigris, yes.
Giovanni De Nigris, phenomenal food there too. So those are, it all depends what you want to eat. With 5 different pizza styles that you like that you would pick differently. It's what are you in for? We have some of the best restaurants in the city.
Incredible still. Even after COVID, I still feel we have some really good ones. It's just incredible. Okay, I got to ask you this: from those early days to now, your thoughts. Just give it to me in a nutshell. This is the last question, and then I'm going to say something about you on what you've accomplished. Could you ever have imagined this?
No. I told you, we never, as a family, John, we never planned for this. Some of our biggest accomplishments outside of the business, but the business is what brought us together, is family. If you think about every problem you have in life, it always reverts going to family, figuring it out. And we're so close as a family. We all still work together. Generation 3 now is taking over. They're doing a great job. We're mentoring Generation 4. And I think really the key to a lot of our success is having us all around together. And, it started with my dad.
Right.
And all he wanted was his family together. And that's all I want out of life,
Exactly.
Regardless of the success, I think the one thing you'll hear about our family is we're very humble. We're not out. We haven't changed who we are since we've changed economic positions. We're just that same. We love our culture. We love our family. We spend all our time reinvesting in our family, and we're going to continue to do that.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I'm going to leave you with this, and I'm going to let you go. If I could pick a middle name for you, it's drive, determination, and an unbelievable work ethic. Eddie Greco, you keep doing what you're doing, because this was fantastic. And I really appreciate you coming on my show, A Conversation with John Conenna. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and I appreciate you putting these 30, 40 minutes aside for me, because this is fantastic.
Thank you, John. My pleasure.
Yeah. This will go out on YouTube and on Spotify in the coming days. Again, we've been visiting with the CEO, President Eddie Greco of Greco and Sons. Fantastic. And just the product line and the food distribution is amazing. Good day, everyone. Eddie, and thank you.
Thank you.
On sale now at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble stores. The Twins, A Journey of a Lifetime. The brothers and authors Tony and Carl Ruzicka take us through a journey of Chicago sports history and their memories of a bygone era. Purchase your copy today.